roll for you. Control con unless Runa wants to fly for you. Actually, you know what? If you guys want to say that Etchishar is groggily making his way to the front, he can roll, and he's a lot better at it than Karava is.
Yeah.
Let's see, NPC cadets.
Yeah.
Roll for the ship, though, Mac. And I'll roll for Etchishar. Control con. Doof. Oh, yeah, that's better. 1 and 1. So 2 successes. I'm going to say you need 2 successes to get in the wormhole. So you guys start going into the wormhole. Um, at this point, Padar and Deez and you guys wake up with the sound of like going through the wormhole. You know how loud that is on the show. Just like a lot of it sounds like glass breaking on outside the ship and like laser shows and everything going on. So you guys can run to the front or to the to wherever you want to run to, um, or you can stay sleeping if you want. That's fine too. Um,
I'll go to the front.
okay.
I'll go to the closest replicator, get some coffee, and head towards the engineering.
Okay. When you get to the front, Cadet Padar, you see, or the cockpit, and get to your seat, you can see that you are definitely in the wormhole. Um, and at this point in time, anybody who has, which is probably going to just be Karava, who has orb experience or strong paw. Oh wow, it's not Karava doesn't have an orb experience. Okay.
Oh, and that was Velik.
Oh right. I thought someone might. Um, let
I
me.
like she specifically she felt that she was unworthy to look at the and look at them, so she didn't want to.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, then maybe everybody is going to have an experience. Everybody roll
Yeah.
control and command to kind of like a constitution check. And I know some of y'all are not on roll 20, so let me know if you need me to roll for you.
Oh, I need you to roll. I'm currently waiting for a boss.
Okay.
Oh, that's bad for the doctor.
Yeah.
You don't need to be. It doesn't need to be super high, but you don't need it. Ooh, you don't want a complication.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I kind of guessed that.
And Runa, you got all right. So Runa, you immediately find yourself in a white void. In fact, I am gonna kind of just gonna move everyone to a white void just to make it that much more believable. Um, let's see, where's that sound here? Oh, there it is. You're the first one in the white void, so let me actually move your token there. And as you're looking around, you don't see anything at first. And then you see training instructor Merzek walk up to you. And he says, "It is the Runa. We have been waiting for you.
Yes.
Where are your colleagues?" Let's see. I'm just checking
She
everyone's.
looks around and she goes to see if anyone's around her. That is weird.
Not at the moment, not yet. And training instructor Merzek says, "I see. Well, the prophets have a problem." And then from behind you hear a familiar voice say, "The problem is not here, you're not really understanding what they mean by that. And the person that you see is Cadet Hines. Cadet Hines says, "We cannot identify what is happening to our linear progression. Please assist."
Hmm. You have a problem, but it's not here.
Training Instructor Merzek says, "Our problem is here, but it is also not here."
Oh, okay. So it's not at this specific wormhole. Could be at a different wormhole.
This that you call wormhole, is this what the Bajorans call Celestial Temple?
Yes. Is
Then
there another celestial temple?
it is. And at that moment, that is when Cadet Padar shows up. Except Padar, you have a splitting headache, a splitting migraine to the point where the white light that surrounds you and the heartbeat that you hear is excruciatingly painful, and you kind of collapse to your knees, hands to your ears, unable to kind of withstand it for the moment.
Bruna goes over to check on you.
Cadet Hines says, "Cardassian was not meant to be here. They worship us now." Runa, with your empathy, you can clearly feel. Uh-oh.
Yeah?
Hold on. Let me see how long ago
We
it was.
stopped streaming.
Okay. Yeah. Next time, just say it over the voice chat so I don't go for 2 more minutes.
All right, sorry.
That's fine. Let me figure out what is going on. Thankfully, I always record it as well, so I can. Oh, okay.
What did Carver roll?
2 successes, so you're not there yet, and you also don't have a headache yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop streaming real quick and then start it again, and hopefully it picks it back up. I hope. It's taking a while to stop streaming though, for some reason.
So you, yeah. I'll just let the doctor know that I'm actually kneeled in front of the doctor and looking at him.
Yeah, you're feeling his pain with your empathy, and you're probably, if you two don't both either get out of this situation or get medical attention, you're both going to kind of be in the same boat, basically.
Basically, can I do a mind meld with him?
Do you have that as a talent?
Yeah, it was meant to, instead of being a telepathy, it was meant to be a touch, a Vulcan mind meld.
I mean, yeah, you can try. Control medicine. Difficulty. Is Padar going to contest a mind meld, or is he going to allow the mind meld?
I'm not in any state to contest anything.
Okay. Then go ahead. It'll be just
Control.
a difficulty 1 then. I'm trying to get this. For some reason, it's not. I don't think the OBS is gonna work again. So I'm recording it though. So I'll just put up the last half. The last half on the on YouTube later.
She's actually trying to reduce the difficulty on the stress for him.
Oh, okay. All right. So
yeah, that's why she's doing it.
In that case, Cadet Padar, go ahead and roll another control command, Except instead of a difficulty 1, it's now a difficulty 0. So just don't get another complication and you'll be fine again.
There.
Ah, there you go. And you guys get a momentum. So as you do the mind meld to kind of release his stress, yeah, Padar, you can definitely feel the tension just immediately evaporate. The white light, I mean, it's still kind of make your eyes a bit sore, but it's definitely not as bad as it was. The heartbeat is not as loud as it was. Everything seems to be fine now.
I look around.
You just see the
We're
white
in
light, and you see Cadet Hines and Training Instructor Mrzek. And you also see, just for the fun of it, let's see. We'll say you also see Captain Benny Chang.
Oh,
appears we're with the prophets.
yes.
The Chang prophet says, the other temple, the other celestial temple, is being used by Pa Wraiths.
Hello.
Hello, Z.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's being used by Pa Wraiths. They're causing this wormhole to destabilize. One and or both may end up anywhere in the universe. You must help us stop them.
Where can we find them?
We are unsure which location. It is another wormhole, and that's Benny Chang, the Benny Chang prophet talking. And he stops. And at this point, this is when both Deason and who's the other security? Karava, you guys show up. No headache, no migraine, no ear issues, nothing like that. Everything's fine. You see Training Instructor Mrzek, who obviously didn't come with you, Cadet Hines, who's obviously still in the hospital, and Captain Benny Chang, who is definitely not supposed to be here either. And yeah, the Training Instructor Mrzek prophet says, this celestial temple is being destabilized. We must send you somewhere. We will open the wormhole the way you came in. Do any of you four have anything to say before they release you back to the runabout?
My character's too aghast to even contemplate what's going on at this moment, because it's like, what is going on?
Crow is confused and she'll ask, Captain, what temple? What are you talking about? Where are we? And Hines, you're here. You look much better.
He just looks at you confused.
Lieutenant Runa says, obviously, it seems like the prophets actually considered you worthy.
Prophets? And she'll look at Runa confused and like, what prophets? And she's still very confused. Because, she has no idea what's happening.
As you guys are there, Runa, you vanish from the white void and reappear in the runabout. Padar, you vanish from the white void and reappear in the runabout. And it's just Karava and Deason for the moment.
She'll look at Deason and say, are we in some sort of holosuite program or something? I'm a bit confused.
Unfortunately, I don't think we are. From what I gather, these are probably the prophets or something. But, man, either way, I gotta stop drinking coffee.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'll walk up to Hines and I'll ask, what's happening, Hines?
I'm a bit confused.
Heinz, the Heinz prophet says, "We are sending you back to your ship as well," and you both vanish from the white void to. Even though you guys vanished at different times, you all wake up, quote unquote, in the runabout at the same exact time. And that's when Etchishar, who is still at the helm, turns and looks at you and says, "Where'd you guys go? What? You guys just kind of passed out there for a second."
Yeah, I had some weird dream. Well, there was a bright light and everyone was there. But you weren't there though, but that's too bad. It looked like a fun party.
Sure. So we're gonna jump back to the civilization real quick to deal with Velik's character. um,
So just one thing. I'm looking at the calendar, and apparently it begins in 1 hour. So I'm apparently on.
It's messed up. The Gilded always messes up the time. I try to message or I try to put out announcements like, "Hey, don't listen to the time. It's wrong." You know?
Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't always get to everyone because everyone's on different times and everything. So sorry about that. I should have messaged everyone individually, but yeah, I think you're the last person. Everyone else, like Edgeford, he already said he wouldn't be able to make it. So. But yeah, basically all your character knows is you're on the USS Civilization, which is the Nebula class colony ship, and you currently left the Gamma Starlight 1, the Academy campus, dropped off a few of the cadets on a runabout to go investigate an anomaly with the wormhole, and then now it's on its way to somewhere else, but you don't know where. However, you get a call from your temporary quarters on the Civilization from Training Instructor Merzek to meet him in the captain's ready room off the bridge in like 5 minutes.
Okay, then I'll make my way.
Alright, so you head your way there, and you get to the bridge, and of course, you don't see the Captain Benny Chang there, Captain of the Civilization. He's not there because he's in the ready room, but you do see their Vulcan First Officer. She just looks over at you, perks a brow, and nods, and then goes back to reading a data pad. You pass, the bridge of a Nebula-class ship is kind of like a small diet version of a Galaxy class. You just go from the turbolift, to the ready room. How do you gain entrance? Do you just open the door? Do you press the chime? I'm assuming.
I'll press the chime. Yeah, make it the normal way.
You hear Captain Benny Chang's voice say, "Enter," and the door parts for you.
Okay, I enter and I say, "Captain."
Ah,
Velik here.
Mr. Velik, it's good to see you. And Chang is pouring I don't know, some kind of fuzzy drink. And the training instructor Merzek just kind of walks around the desk from which Chang is sitting. Move over here actually makes more sense. And kind of stands between the two of you, and he says, "Cadet Velek, you may or may not know this. I don't know how much you and your cadets were conversing before they departed, but they are off on their own mission. And should we succeed in our current diplomatic mission, then consider yourself graduated year 2, and no need for any written exams. However, it's not all that simple, because the Saphir, as you may or may not know, were at a war with the Dominion not too long ago, and they basically came to a stalemate, and that was just the Dominion. Now that the Dominion is part of the Infamous Allegiance, if the Dominion decided to go back to war with the Saphir, then they'd most likely get overwhelmed. And of course, the Saphir are the technologically advanced species. We haven't really discovered if they're cybernetic, fully robotic, or just completely covered in armor, but they are the highly advanced, technologically advanced species who currently reside in the Western Territories, west of the Dominion space. However, what you don't know yet, and what none of the other cadets knew, is who we're actually meeting with. Not just the Saphir. We're meeting with diplomats from the Dosai, the Dry, and the Dominion. And he stops for a second. He's like, I wonder if it's ironic or intentional that they all start with D. Anyway, basically, the Saphir have put it this way. They don't completely trust Starfleet diplomats, so they want a younger, less experienced diplomat to undergo or to undertake the negotiations. Their goal, the Saphir's goal, is to convince the Dosai, the Dominion, and the Dry to leave the Infamous Allegiance and join them and us against the Infamous Allegiance. And of course, they don't mind if Benny Chang or myself are there, but they, like I said, they don't trust the older generation Starfleet. They want somebody with a fresh perspective, new blood, as they say. And with the others off on their scientific mission, you're the first person that came to mind. And it's voluntary, of course, but if you want the job, you will have diplomatic immunity. You will be able to speak with the full weight of the Federation and Starfleet behind you. Not even myself or Captain Benny Chang will be able to countermand any of the ambassadorial claims that you make, should you choose so. We will be equals in the full sense of the term, rank notwithstanding. Do you accept this mission, Cadet Valek?
Well, do we have something to give them?
No, we only have the fact that if we don't convince the Dominion, especially the Dominion, but definitely the other two as well, to leave the Infamous Allegiance, the Gamma Quadrant will pretty much be the Dominions again. So we need to figure out what it is that we can give them, the Dominion specifically, to convince them to leave. And the Dominion have already had their problems with the Infamous Allegiance, as you may have heard. There was an entire resistance movement of Dominion, Jem'Hadar, and Vorta aboard a infamous dreadnought not too long ago. We may be able to use that, but the main thing is we just aren't sure what the Dominion wants. And sometimes they want territory, other times they just want to conquer. There isn't really there really isn't anything that we can offer them as of right now. The Gamma Quadrant itself is off the table as far as Starfleet Command is concerned. Territory in general is off the table. We can't really make any concessions, but what we can do is try to convince them that the Infamous Allegiance is not the way forward, because, like I said, they're already kind of seeing that. All we have to do is keep pressing that issue, I think. But again, whatever you decide to tell them, that will be on you. Not just your responsibility, but your privilege as well. We will all be diplomatic equals in that sense.
I see. And what about the Jem'Hadar? Can we maybe entice them, offer them something?
As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I'm aware, we are primarily dealing with the Vorta known as, and he looks down at a data pad that's on the desk. He says, a Vorta called, me actually looking through notes, Zivath. He will be there with a Jem'Hadar, who is basically his security chief, but he is their primary diplomat. And of course, like most Vorta, he probably just wants to serve the Changelings. So that's kind of a diplomatic route we can take with them. It's kind of explain to them that it's better not just for the Vorta and the Jem'Hadar, but also the Changelings, that they kind of leave the Infamous Allegiance.
Right. Very well. I do not mind taking this on me. Well, I guess we'll see what we'll need, what they will need, more importantly, and what we can provide for them.
Indeed. Well, and he kind of gestures towards the door and he says, "After you, I believe we're gonna head to the conference room and fully prepare for this meeting, and I will explain to you." And he just kind of goes off on some more Starfleet talk about, protocol and all this other stuff. Basically boring stuff. Let's see. Several hours are going to pass. I'm going to actually take you to the map so that I can show you kind of where you guys are, or where you are, I should say. So you guys left here, Gamma Starlight 1, kind of went up north, dropped off the runabout. The runabout then headed east, northeast, and then you guys headed towards Parada. And then once you got to Parada, the civilization took a massive detour towards the west into Dominion space. At the moment, the civilization is... Well, I think at this point, this part is no longer Dominion space. It's now neutral space because of their war with the Saphir. So you're pretty much leaving Dominion space at this point and heading towards Saphir space. Do you have any questions or anything before you guys or before you arrive at the location?
I don't think so. Nothing so far.
Okay. So after several hours, you are ordered to report to the bridge. When you get there, they show you two ships on long-range scans, a Dosai trading vessel, which is pretty much used whenever they're not using their warships. That's pretty much what they're using. And then a dry warship, which is basically just like their specialty ship they use to hunt the Tosk in. And they are basically kind of on varied trajectories coming from their varied homeworlds towards this one kind of location. And Captain Benny Chang says, "Take a look at these two ships, Cadet Velik. They may not be our enemies at the moment, but that could change at any second. They are, after all, members of the Dominion at this point, and they could potentially be spies for the infamous Allegiance. Although we are going to be talking with whoever their diplomatic liaisons are on those ships, I still wouldn't trust them as far as you could throw them. And I'm pretty sure you can throw them pretty far, being a Vulcan, or at least half Vulcan."
I suppose. I guess this is more of an internal question between us, and I sort of hush them or whisper them. Do you want them to get angry at us? Is that the plan, or how are you looking at this?
Are you just saying this to Captain Benny Chang or training instructor Merzek too? He's on the bridge, but he's not like very close.
Yeah, obviously. So not to him. So
Okay.
Only.
Captain Benny Chang shrugs, actually, and he says, "Well, to be honest, it's the Dominion I'm more worried about. The Dosai and the Dry have been followers. As much as they spout their honorable warrior bulk, they're pretty much followers of whatever the Dominion tells them to do. The Dominion, as far as Starfleet intelligence knows, they're bringing a full-on dreadnought, so they're going to be the more formidable ship if things go sideways." At that moment, Benny Chang looks over to his science officer and nods. Science officer puts on the main view screen the following image. He says, "We're approaching the base. Here's our long-range scans of said base." Move you to that. So this is the base. That's what it looks like roughly. He says that thing is about the size, maybe even a little bit bigger than Earth's moon. They definitely have, been working. And the pictures of the ships are just to give you an idea of the scale. So these two ships, the Dosai and the Dry, are basically, to that, and then the Dominion Dreadnought is way bigger than all of you. It's not to scale to the starbase, obviously, but the ships are to scale. So, and as you guys approach the starbase, let's see. Just checking some things. The Saphir individual appears on screen. I will show you that individual. It is a female-looking mechanical, kind of high-tech, but kind of looks low-tech as well. Individual appears, and in a kind of mechanical digital voice, she says, "I am Border Enforcement Programmer Jolebri Axa. You are ordered USS Civilization NCC," and then rattles off the NCC number, "to proceed to the planet and make standard orbit. Other vessels ordered to the starbase for docking procedure. Dreadnought Dominion ordered at a distance of," and then rattles off like a number of kilometers, "away from the starbase. Maximum weapons distance. Proceed to these coordinates," and then the screen just goes back to picture of the starbase. Benny Chang kind of chuckles. He looks over to you, Valak, and he says, "See what I mean? We can't tell if they're robots or just people in very advanced armor. Either way, it's going to be interesting."
Well, they're manners. Anyways, they're more robotic, I suppose.
But that could just be their way of enhancing themselves cybernetically. They could still be flesh and bone under there. Who knows? Could be like the Borg for all we know.
Maybe, but the Borg do not show any emotion, so I suppose it's more or less the same.
Well, they're definitely less diplomatic than the Saphir, that's for sure.
Indeed.
Alright, so Benny Chang says, "Well, you, me, and training instructor Merzek are supposed to take a runabout from the Civilization as it makes its orbit towards the starbase, so I guess we should head down to the shuttle bay. And you guys head to, or yeah, you three head to the shuttle bay, I suppose."
I follow.
Jumping to the runabout. You guys are back in the runabout, in the wormhole. The wormhole, which is usually like a very bright blue, just kind of, throwing energy around randomly, is leaning more towards the really, really dark purple, almost red, and is fluctuating wildly. So what do you guys do? Runa, what are your orders?
Go back the way we came.
Okay. Etchishar will roll for that so he can back the hell out because, yeah, he does not want to get stuck in a wormhole that is collapsing. I'm going to say it's Daring. Daring Khan. Can you roll for the ship, Mac? It'll be Engines Khan.
Yep.
Ooh, he got one success. I need one more success from that ship's. Oof. He kind of backs out. And yeah, I'm actually going to spend 2 threat, even though he failed. I'm still spending threat because it's kind of a big deal. And as he's backing out, the wormhole opens. And the wormhole, because I mean, he went in forward, obviously, so he has to back out. But as he's coming out of the wormhole stops becoming, it's the purple fluctuations cease and it goes back to being blue. And then the wormhole vanishes and you're just in the middle of space. The sensor readouts are going crazy. I need everybody to roll insight security, even Etchishar, so I'm going to roll for him.
You still need to roll for me as well.
Okay.
What was the roll?
Insight and security. Alright, So you just need one success. So it looks like everybody is getting at least one success. Runa, you get 2, so put you guys up to 5 momentum.
I'm glad I gave you some momentum.
Oh, you gave me momentum?
I gave the group a momentum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you everybody kind of notices it because the runabout is relatively small. But you just kind of float by like some random sensor satellite. Like it definitely wasn't here before.
Okay. Dog, get a scan.
Okay, that'll be reason and science. Difficulty
Yeah.
this will be difficulty 0. Unless you get a complication, you'll get the answers pretty quickly. Um, your ship wasn't too badly damaged by what just happened. Like some relays fried, but other than that, like your sensors still work and everything like that.
There you go. 2 success.
Nice. All right, so you guys are up to 7 momentum. So as your hands are flying over the science console, you're like, well, this is weird. You're in the alpha quadrant, and you are not well, actually, you're in the beta quadrant, and you're not really near, not even where the other, like either end of the wormhole should have been. You are on the other side of the beta quadrant, like almost on the other side of the galaxy. Yeah, you're not anywhere where you need to be. In fact, I am eventually. I'll let you guys kind of react to that, and then I'll kind of show you on a map that I have to grab where you guys are.
I'm like, huh.
I'm gonna scan for Verteron particles to see if we're near the pirate's wormhole.
Okay.
Yeah. Double check.
Yeah.
And
I'll spend a momentum.
Okay. You spend a momentum, and you detect particles of all kinds, neutrino particles, but you even detect chronoton particles, but you don't detect particles that would tell you, that you are near that specific wormhole. In fact, you're detecting particles that tell you you're near a much larger opening of a wormhole that is, and I mean, just looking at the star charts, you can tell you're not, you're in the beta quadrant. Um, but yeah, so you know that you're not
Run.
where you're supposed to be.
Continue. I was gonna say, Renner's just gonna look over the sensor data to find the closest outpost.
The closest outpost pops up as like a bunch of random numbers, like coordinates. Because obviously where you are, my roll 20 is taking a really long time, so it might be a sec before I actually have a map for you. But
Can
basically,
I
yep.
can I compare the star position and the star chart to see if we're in the same time zone, basically, or if the prophet moved us through time as well?
I'll go ahead and tell you because you got 3 successes. You didn't go anywhere in time that you can tell. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell when you're in deep space if you move time, but
Mhm.
I'll just go ahead and tell you like your sensors and your chronometers and everything are like, yeah, no, you're still in the same time. You're just in a different part of the galaxy, and
Okay.
it's not letting me actually put the damn thing there. So
Lieutenant Runner goes, well, our best bet would be get a much larger vessel to help us out, because this is a request for help from the prophets,
okay, so you
and
want
plus
to hail the nearest starbase and be like, hey, get us out of here. I don't know. We don't know where you are or where we are, other than the beta quadrant, and we just need some help, basically.
yep, we
Okay.
need some help over here.
All right. I don't know why I disconnected or why I X'd out of that folder. Give me 1 second.
See,
Hmm. Sorry, I'm stupid. Roll20 is being a bastard again. Please work. It still might not work. So it's gonna take a minute for anybody to reply because of how far away you guys are. Oh my god, it's still taking forever
Yeah.
to load. What the hell? I might have to put it in Gilded. Let me see.
Carnival asks, what happened? What do you mean the prophets?
The prophets are requesting help. Pretty much, they've requested help because the pirates are assaulting one of their temples. And I believe this is the temple that they are assaulting, so it makes the other wormhole destabilize, and we may lose that wormhole if the pirates win. Destabilize
Huh?
it there. So it does
Oh.
affect us in the long run if we lose, if the prophets lose this wormhole.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're gonna protect the Celestial Temple. So yeah, the powers, they're naughty. So I don't know. Yeah, okay. She's still not getting it, but we need to help the prophets. Is basically what she knows.
Yeah, we're helping the prophets. So I feel privileged that they are asking for your help as well. She looks at you like, I don't know if you have had an orb experience, but
No, I never had an orbit.
well, congratulations, you got to meet the prophets in person.
No, it's just a weird dream I had.
Alright, I'm gonna jump to the civilization while you guys realize where you are. Let's see. Marzek, Captain Chang, and Velik, you guys are exiting the runabout after landing in the starbase. Actually, let me move you there. So now you're exiting onto this thing, Velik. And the first thing you see is nothing. You get out of the runabout and you look around the room, and other than the force field that's, you can see the black, the black space and stars beyond the force field as the doors come closed. But like around you, you just see like a metal room. There's no consoles, there's like a tiny, I wouldn't say tiny, but there is a door, like an outline of a door, but it's hard. You wouldn't be able to make it out. And then like, unless you're like looking for it, which you are. And then above you, there's lights that, but you could definitely tell that those lights are kind of aftermarket. Like, oh yeah, we might need these for people that use ocular, eyeballs. And then as you guys are exiting in this overly clean room, the door opens and the female enforcer that you guys saw on the screen walks in, and let me see if I can find that picture again. She walks over, says, "I am Border Enforcement Programmer Joe Labrie, AXA. Follow." And then she just turns and starts walking, presumes that you follow. Captain Chang just shrugs and follows. What is
looking at her?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any way like I can scan without making it too obvious? I can scan what's standing in front of me.
You were not informed whether or not you could bring a tricorder, but you were definitely told not to bring a phaser. So yeah, you can pull out your tricorder and try to like scan, like kind of secretly. I'm not. The difficulty level is stupid high, like almost impossible. But if you want to try, go ahead.
Is that for scanning or for them figuring out that I'm scanning?
Well, I'm putting them both in the same role, so like,
Oh, I see.
yeah. I mean, I tell you what, let's do a control and security just to see if you can be sneaky about it. That'll be the one that's stupid high, and then the actual scan will be a little bit lower.
Okay.
Actually, you know
Control
what?
security.
I'm gonna increase the complication range to 5 as well with threat, because I could totally see this going way wrong.
Okay. Let's see. I don't think I have a focus for it. Yeah, probably not. Don't know if research works.
Only if you've been doing research on the Saphir before now.
I mean, I guess I was doing some sort of a recon research, like very little, just trying to figure out through the computer, like through our databases. So
what about I'll allow xenobiology, even though technically speaking, if they're robots, it won't matter. But I'll allow it in this case.
Okay, sounds good.
Because it is a whole species
Complication
you're trying
range.
to figure out. Complication range is 5.
Yep. Okay. Well, there goes nothing.
You guys have 8 momentum, just so you know.
Oh boy. Yep, exactly. Like the thing we need. 8 momentum, he said. Okay, so let's lose the complication. We don't want our first impression to be that bad.
All right. So you know, like, she doesn't look behind her. She's leading you. She doesn't look behind you. You don't see any guards. You don't see any cameras. You don't see nothing. In fact, the walls are perfect, symmetrical. Like, everything is smooth. Like, and the color is just straight up like metallic steel, which is weird. And I think it should be, it's even to the player, it should be weird that, like, the base that you're in is way less decorated than the 2 Saphir that you have seen recently, which is her and then the co-administrator. At least I think you were in that game, weren't you?
Was that last time?
No, it was like 3 before that. It was yeah, you might not have been in that one. That might have been before you decided to come back. So maybe not. But yeah, either way, this one that you know of, I mean, just looking, you could see, like, even if it's not decorative, like, even if it's actually just like armor or whatever, or you know, whatever it may be, it's still got way more design to it than this starbase interior. You also notice that the exterior of the starbase has it doesn't have as much design as the individuals, but it's got design to it. It's only the interior of the starbase that seems to be nothing, bland. But that being said, you are not able, like, in an obvious way, not able to conceal your scan. And you know that she doesn't look behind her, but you get the feeling she kind of, like, heard you open the tricorder and it did that little ringing thing, like, and then you closed it quickly. Like, she definitely heard that, but she doesn't act like she knows. And since you're a science officer, I will just allow you to ask one question free of charge, because you did technically open the tricorder, even though you didn't actually get much of a scan. So if you have one question before you even want to make a scan, I'll let you ask it.
Okay, and what was her title again? Speaker, I believe?
It was... Where is it? NPCs... Border Enforcement Programmer. I will put it available for you to see.
Alright, so I'll sort of approach her, but not too, you know, not making too much of her space, and I'll say, Border Enforcer, if you would indulge me with this one question.
She just says, very well, and continues walking. Behind you, the 2 command officers just look at each other wide-eyed.
I am quite curious about your being, shall we say. I am very much a man of science, and what I'm seeing in front of me, which is you, piques my curiosity and interest. Would you like to tell me what exactly are you made of, and whether this is a material that exists in your home world, wherever you come from?
You are not the first to be curious about our nature. We were created millennia ago. We are unable to create ourselves, so we merely copy what we see. For those other species that wish to engage in diplomacy with us, we are all different and immortal. We are both biological and mechanical in nature. Does this suffice?
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you for the answer.
Very well.
And I keep walking with it.
Okay. Now, do you want to ask a question about the scan, or are you content with the question that you just asked her?
Well, since it's only one question, I think I'm gonna keep it there. Let's not, go too far into it.
That's fine. You get to a room. Now, on the way to the room, actually, before we get too far ahead, you do see a couple of docai. Let me grab their pictures. And most people know kind of what the docai look like. One of these was created by a random art generator. Guess which one that was. But the two docai are kind of in a, imagine like on DS9 they had the Replimat where it was like just tables and chairs and like a replicator. It's kind of like that, but a way even more simplified version of that, if that's at all possible. And they're just sitting, like they're drinking something, but you're not, obviously they watch you pass. They're like glaring at you as you pass. But other than that, they don't do or say anything. As you kind of pass them, you do overhear one of them lean to the other and whisper something, but you can't make out what it is.
Okay. How do they look? Do they look like angry or annoyed or?
Well, they're docile, so they look always angry and annoyed.
Okay. Well, I guess then I'll just keep moving and raise an eyebrow of Dozai being Dozai. So
And then
not much I can do about it.
Yep. And then you do actually make it to the conference room, and everybody kind of filters in. The last to arrive to take their seats is the Vorta Zivath and his Jem'Hadar first. And as he enters, of course, Zivath has to make a big speech. He comes in, hands outstretched. He says, greetings, fellow emissaries of goodwill. I am Zivath. This is my head of security. First, Aram Sakid. Before we get into any extensive negotiations, I must, unfortunately, inform everyone here that the infamous Allegiance has somehow discovered our plot and has deployed an assassin here ahead of time. Someone in this room is a changeling. Nobody moves.
Confused.
So,
and how did you know? I look at him and I'll say, where did you hear this from?
From another changeling, of course. I am, after all, a Vorta. I would be the one that they would tell if they were going to tell anyone anything.
I see.
And a couple of the other, like the docai, start muttering to each other. The dry, who are over here, the hunters, start muttering to each other. But nobody, I mean, the 1, 2, 3, 4 semi-mechanical creatures don't react at all, that you can tell. Roll insight, security, or insight. You know what? I'll allow anything. It could be command, security, science, engineering, insight. Probably not con. I don't think you can really tell anything about from con. But anything else, if you want to know something, just roll insight something, and then you can get some information from it. You also, I think, have plenty of momentum if you want to use that to get more dice.
Hey. And xenobiology, I suppose it also works here because there's a lot of aliens. unknown aliens.
Yeah, it'll be contingent upon what you're rolling. So if you're gonna roll insight medicine on the aliens that you are less familiar with, then I'll allow that. But if you're gonna roll it on any of like the Starfleet command officers or anything like that, then it probably wouldn't apply. So
Okay.
it just depends on what you, like I said, you can roll anything, but whatever answers I give is going to be dependent on what you roll for. So if you roll insight command, that biology doesn't really have a whole lot unless you're trying to figure out someone's psychology, like a specific species psychology, then I might allow that, but yeah.
I was thinking maybe I can try and sort of figure out the sort of the mood in the room. Who's looking more suspicious, or nervous, or out of place, shall we say?
That'll be command, security, or medicine, and in that case, xenobiology would help unless it was Benny Chang, and I think unless it was Merzek as well, because he is half Vulcan like yourself. But that it would apply to the others though. But it would also not. It's not going to tell you who's a changeling because you can't tell from that.
Obviously.
It would tell you like if someone's especially more nervous about it. And I will go ahead and tell you for free, the Dosai and the Hunters, the Dry, are obviously nervous. Like they're not hiding it. They're just muttering to each other, kind of angry, like what the hell's going on? Like they're just.
Yeah, but that's not out of place, right?
No, that's that.
It's
I mean,
more of a typical thing.
If your character's half Vulcan, but I mean, you probably would be a little bit nervous too if you learned that there's an assassin here to ruin diplomatic talks.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. All right. I'll go with xenobiology, and I'll use, I suppose, one momentum. Okay. So that's for the extra. And I'm thinking maybe. Can I work on a vice? So work against it in a sense.
Sure, you can challenge a vice. What vice would that be?
I'll use arrogance because I'm thinking, if someone here is the actual spy assassin, arrogant would fit in because they've actually dared come in here and cause this whole ruckus.
So are you challenging it or using it?
I'm challenging it to try and figure out if someone around here, or one of those people, is actually arrogant.
So you're. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. But it doesn't. So the vice is for your character though. Like your character is the arrogant one. So that's why I'm.
Yeah, but like through my vice, I want to figure out if someone is acting arrogant because I know how it is. I'm arrogant.
Okay. Then you wouldn't necessarily be challenging it. You'd more likely be using arrogance.
Trying to spot it.
Yeah. So if you want to use a determination for that, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Then let's use that as well.
Yep. Okay. And I'm not telling you the difficulty. Alright, so that's three successes. So I'm 3 successes. Everybody seems nervous, except for the a border enforcement programmer, the 2 sentries that are on either side of the room and haven't moved since you got there. The woman who didn't get a chance to introduce herself says she does express a bit more emotion than the other Saphir, and her eyes actually look human. And she says, "Everybody, please calm down. Yes, we have had problems in the past, and yes, we may have a problem now. We did have to deal with a traitor, co-administrator, Manasank. We have placed a bounty on her head, and we do have our reservations about the Federation, as well as the Dominion. But if we try to conduct our negotiations here and now under suspicion and fear, we will not get anything done. And pardon me," she looks across to Chang and Merzek and yourself and says, "I'm sorry for not being able to introduce myself before. I am co-administrator Nada." She seems like she should be nervous, but isn't. I mean, obviously she's biomechanical, so that just might be that.
Yep.
But you find it kind of odd. Um, you also think that although the two Dosai are acting in character for Dosai, the hunters are bickering with themselves a bit more than they probably should. Definitely for diplomats. Zivath is arrogant as always, and he's probably not the changeling unless he's an idiot. And the Jem'Hadar looks on guard because all Jem'Hadar are always on guard. So I'll let you make of that as you will.
Right. And I look at her and say, so you've known this before? You've been knowing this, or you've been dealing with this for how long?
Who are you? Who are you saying that to?
To the co-administrator.
She says, "Well, ever since our war with the Dominion, we have had to deal with changelings in our midst. That is just something that we have come to expect. However, changelings do not harm us the way that they harm, for example, Vulcans or Romulans. They can destroy our bodies. Our consciousness simply... Sorry, I had to take some Tums. My stomach was killing me. Our consciousness does not die like normal humanoids. So they have had no... We had no reason to fear them. Even if they were here to gather intelligence, any Saphir that leaves our space, the borders of our space, is immediately hunted down and eliminated." She kind of glances over to the border enforcement programmer. She says, "Thanks to Gelebri Axa here, we have only had one Saphir, or shall I say, one Saphir and one Dren clone escape our custody. And the leader of the diplomats from the Dry says, a Dren clone killed one of our hunters and stole his armor to absconder with your leader, or one of your leaders. So we blame you for that." She nods, "Of course. But like I said, we cannot remain in fear. We must continue with the negotiations." And she looks over to you, Velik. She says, "What is your thoughts on the matter, Cadet?"
Well, my thoughts is if we have an issue, such as an assassin, by the looks of it, then we need to deal with it before we get to any diplomatic missions or objectives or whatever we're doing here. If this assassin hasn't been dealt with and is with us in this room currently, then they're listening to everything we're saying. And if we strike deals, whether it's in this room or the next, if they can hear us, they will probably take action, which is why they're here, I assume. Does that sound logical to you?
The enforcement programmer says, "Then why haven't they already taken action? We are all here."
That is a good question. Maybe they're waiting for something that we will agree on so that they can send it to their superiors. Maybe they have alternate agendas. We don't know. We don't even know who the assassin is, by the words of our friend here. And I look at the...
The Vorta chuckles. Zivath, he says, "No, we don't know who he is, and we don't know what he wants. But we do know that my colleagues and my gods would not have called him an assassin if he wasn't here to do some damage. I suggest we take the VIPs somewhere else. Co-administrator Nada, myself, and perhaps the captain, Captain Chang, and we go and have this diplomatic talk elsewhere and let the rest of the rabble here contend with themselves and figure out if they can survive the night."
This is my personal opinion as more of a strategist, I suppose you could say, than a diplomat. I recommend we do not let anyone from this room outside, whether it's in a different room or not. because who knows who might be the assassin. And if no disrespect to you, of course, and I'm looking at the board by the way, talking to him. If anyone in your group happens to be the assassin, then we won't really be solving this problem now, will we? If you go somewhere else.
I suppose. All right, so because we have like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, uh, and I'm planning, depending on if you can show up for, when we start this up again in the fall. If you can show up, then I'm planning for this to be a next, like, a next part. Uh, so, but I will let you kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Rule someone out, basically, as far as like for sure who is not it, and who is most likely it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people, not including yourself, but obviously you're not the changeling, or is he? No. So I will divide it by threes. So you'll have 3 people who's probably the changeling, 3 people who's definitely probably not the changeling, and 3 people who you're just unsure of. You can either spend 2 momentum to get uh, one person in one of these categories, or you can make a series of rolls for it.
I see. And for the series of all, how many would I get? Pretty much everyone if my rolls succeed.
It just depends on how many. You need 2 successes per. Well, it's different amount of successes per person, because some people are like, the programmer is obviously going to be harder than your captain, basically.
Right.
But basically, the baseline is 2 successes will rule out one person. Um, it'll be 2 successes for Chang, 2 successes for Berzek, 3 for the Vorda and for the Jem'Hadar, and also 3 for the Dosai and for the Hunters, and it will be 4 for the robots, or not the robots, but the Saphir. It'll
Oh
be
man.
5. It'll be
Okay.
5 for the boss Saphir. I'll just make that, just because it'd be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean let's go make some rolls, I guess.
Okay. So
And
inside.
depending on
Yep. What was that?
no, I was just gonna say depending on like the people I don't know, I could make a xenobiology on them because I don't know their
Yeah.
species and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Basically anyone not Starfleet. And it'll be definitely, I'm gonna say command on this one, or security. I'm taking out medicine at this point.
Right. Okay.
You still use
It goes to
xenobiology
first.
because that's like a psychological thing, but it's obviously a lot easier for a Vulcan than a commander security.
Yeah. That's one. That's 2 successes
All right, so
for.
first use that to rule out someone that's 2. So one of the Starfleet
Hmm.
officers. Who do you want to for sure figure out of those 2?
Okay, so the let's go with the Vulcan.
All right, half Vulcan, half Deltan. He is not.
Yes.
He is absolutely. I mean, he's been with you pretty much the whole time. So if he was a changeling, they would have had to infiltrate on Starfleet Academy uh, camp. Like it would have been almost impossible for a changeling to get to your guys' base, infiltrate, and last that long without having to return to gelatinous form. And so you're pretty sure he's good. Um, so that's
Okay.
one who's probably not. All right, you can roll again. All right,
Another 2.
and that's
Okay.
for the captain, I'm guessing. Um,
Yeah, sure.
you're unsure about because you've actually only met him, like actually met him once. And
Yep.
he is a relatively new um, person, like on the base. Like he's in command of the civilization, which just showed up like a month ago. So you're unsure about him.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's go for the aliens.
You might want to get more. Oh wow, okay.
Oh.
Which Dosai, Jem'Hadar, Vorta, or Hunter? I'm just gonna put the 2 Dosai together. Well, actually, no, I can't do that because if one's a changeling, So yeah, you'll have to pick which hunter and which docile.
Right. The hunter is how many successes was it?
3. Everyone's 3 except for
Three.
the Saphir.
Right. Okay. So let's go for the hunter then.
The diplomat or his aide.
Let's go for his 8.
You are just the physical like the physical appearance of his aide is hard. Like you're 50% sure that that's not even what a dry looks like. So it's definitely a possibility that this changeling is like not fully trained. Like it's probably one of the changelings that was sent out, like Odo was, as one of the 100. That was
Oh
probably
yeah.
captured and like trained how to turn into like this is probably the person that's most likely at this point. I mean, you could roll better for other people in here, but this is the person that you're like most likely like. But then again, it could also be like a genetic mutation. You just don't know 100%. But I would say you're like 65 to 75% sure it's probably her.
Right. Right.
But you still have
Okay.
a lot of other people to go through. Well, I say a lot.
Yeah.
You have some.
Well, they're also they also require 3 successes per, so it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to get them.
You do
It's
got 6
unfortunate.
momentum, and that momentum is going away, so you might want to use it.
Right. Right. Let's use 1 momentum
Okay.
for the next one. 3 dice. That's a 2. Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Okay, so that's the last one then.
Yep. I won't tell you which one it's lost on though.
Yeah. That makes sense. Let's go another. Nope, that's another last. How many do we have still? Like 4, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 people left.
6 more left. Okay. That's a 2. Okay, still not good enough.
Now you still have 5 momentum,
5 momentum, yeah.
and this will
Okay,
be the
using
last
1
scene
momentum.
for the game. Oh, nice.
Hey, that's a 3. Okay.
All right. So
Right.
either the Vorta, the Jem'Hadar, the 2 Dosai, or 1 the Hunter Diplomat. Who is it going to be?
Let's go for the Vorta actually this time.
Ooh, okay. Um, Strangely enough, even though he brought the attention to everybody, if I was a changeling assassin, I would show up as a Vorta. So it's a high likelihood that he is a changeling. If anybody was a changeling, it probably would be him. So
Right.
that means you have 1 more probably.
Yep.
And you
So
still
2
have
out of.
yep 2 unsures and 2 probably nots.
Okay. And we still have 4, I think, to go to.
4 momentum, yeah.
Or to go for. Yeah, 4 momentum.
You can also give me threat.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. In this particular scene, probably not a good idea.
I mean, I still have enough threat to do whatever I want, basically, but I'm holding off on it for right now because I don't know what's going to happen with your guesses.
Okay. I'll use 1 more die. So that's 3 dice. Ugh, yeah.
What's that?
Failure.
4? That's 4.
That's 3.
3 fails.
3 left. That's 3 fails.
I mean,
exactly.
fails.
Sorry.
Because I'm writing down who you're not able to get now.
Oh, sorry. That's 4 fails now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's reached 4 fails.
All right. So I've written down the ones that you can't get, and that way, you know, when you decide you want to get them, I can say yay or nay. All right. So go ahead and roll 1 more again.
Yep.
Or you can also spend 3 momentum. Oh wow, 4. I'm guessing you're going to use that on one of the robots, right?
Yeah, because they go for 4, right?
Yep. Which robot?
Yep.
You have 3 robots that are 4, or Saphir, I should say, that are 4, and 1
Yep.
that's 5.
So we have was the co-administrator a 4, or was that a 5?
She was a 5 because she's the mystery. Like the others, like they look just like robots. You can kind of look at them and be like, are they moving slightly or something? But her nervousness could just be nervousness.
For a robot.
Well, they all have some
I mean, yeah. I mean,
biology. So
right.
you don't know their species well enough to know if it's normal at. That's why it's a 5.
Right.
So which robot?
Okay. Let's go for the left one.
The far left?
The far left. Yeah.
All right. You are looking at it and you're just unsure because it's a freaking robot. As far as you could tell, it could just be, honestly, it could just be a statue. It's that perfect. Both of the sentries look exactly the same. They probably have the least amount of biology than anybody. They're probably actually built specifically for just guard duty, basically. So you're just completely unsure of that one.
And none of them is making like a weird twitch or move or anything like that,
Not
compared to
that
the
you
other.
could tell. Not that you could tell. You'd have to be.
Oh,
So
okay.
this isn't just like the successes aren't just you knowing who's what, but also you have to be able to look at the right time in the right place, for the right amount of time. Like everything has to be perfect. That's why even though you got a 4
Yep.
success, it's still in the unsure.
Okay.
But you got two left that probably not, one in the unsure, and one in the probably.
We have 2 unsures, right? Because there's the
Yeah, you have 2
changeling
unsures, but you have
and the
one
warper.
left
Yep.
that's unsure that you haven't found yet.
Right. Okay. So let's go for a 1. No,
Yeah,
that's
that
not
doesn't
gonna
go to
work.
anybody.
Okay. All right. We still have the co-administrator, I believe.
Yep. 5.
And I have
Now
5.
you can
Okay.
challenge if you want to challenge a value or directive. You can get a determination to then use. You don't have a directive right now besides do diplomacy, but if you're trying to challenge that for somehow.
But I already used determination, so.
You use the determination with your vice, but if you challenge a value,
Oh, right.
it gives you another determination. Then you can use that. But you have to actually challenge something. Like you have to, if you challenge a value, you got to remove that value and replace it. So like it actually takes away from you.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. That's unfortunate. That would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
No, let's go for. I think we had only 3 momentum left, so let's go for all of them. Waste them.
All right.
And 5 dice. And
all right.
Let's go for the co-administrator.
Let's see what. Ooh.
Ah.
Don't get it.
Nope.
So I'm writing down because I didn't write down the 1 earlier. All right. So are you still gonna try to roll even without any momentum, or are you pretty much done?
I think this basically seals it.
Okay.
We've already figured
so
out
you know Merzek is probably safe, and I'm just gonna move the.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to remember where these guys are, but I'm gonna move him around so it's easier to see on screen. So I'm moving him close to you because you're sure he's safe. He's gonna be in the middle of the screen because you're just unsure. This is Robot 1, which is far right or far left, middle of the screen because you're unsure. Probably is going to be that guy, and who's the other one? Oh yeah, the hunter aide. Everybody else, it's a complete mystery. But you do have 1 for sure. Well, 1 for sure, and 1 maybe ally, and then 1 sentry that, I mean, I don't know how you're going to use him, but he's probably fine. Or you're unsure about him, so, but you're more sure that one of them are probably it, the Vorta or the aide, so you could be pretty sure that the sentry is not it. But that is the what's the word I'm looking for? I cannot remember the word I'm looking for. Not cliffhanger, but basically that's where we're gonna end it, is on not knowing who the bad guy is, and then next time we come to this specific thing will be in the fall, and it'll just be Velik and whichever other player cadets show up that are not in the runabout. And then we will try to figure out who the changing is, and if we can get a deal with the Saphir, or if it's even going to matter, because the things that happen in the next week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, could make this all a moot point. By the time, Velik shows back up next fall, he could hear over subspace radio that a war has started with the infamous legions. He don't know. So,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Um, since this is kind of the end of a year, I'm gonna say everybody here is going to get a spotlight milestone. Um, if you don't know how to use that, let me know. Let somebody know, and we will post on. We'll post it basically like how to use it, what to spend it on, etc. As far as reputation goes, I'm pretty sure as I was looking through everybody's reputation, there's a bunch of people that's like way over 15. So I'm just gonna give everybody 4. Don't even bother rolling it. Just take the 4 points and put it. If you have 18, just make it 22, and then spend it. Spend it. Because you guys, with the diplomacy y'all doing and the science and everything that y'all are accomplishing, y'all deserve it. So, yeah. Because
I was wondering,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was wondering, could I get that 8-point Zelfist award thing?
What was it?
The 8-point one, because I don't know, because I've got